Hello everyone, welcome to the instructional video for Ambyria, Shroud of the Shadow Demon. We're going to go ahead and explain the basic rules of the game so you can start playing. Everybody chooses their own deck, and you start with 4 face-down cards on your left, called your arcane cards. Start with 5 cards in your hand. Ambyria is a points-based game. Your objective is to collect more ember stones than your opponent. Each card has an ember stone value, the name of the card, the effect, what happens when you play it, and a mode symbol, which we'll get into in a little bit. Each turn you're going to follow a turn order that has a couple phases that you follow in order. One of the things you're going to do each turn is play a card into your Emberscape. Every time you play a card into your Emberscape, activate the effect in the text. You also have a pile of cards up front called the mode pile. Whatever mode symbol is on the top card of your mode pile determines what mode of gameplay you're playing in. Every turn, as you keep playing a card, your Emberscape is going to get more and more full. Once you get 5 cards in your Emberscape, it is completely full. You cannot add a 6th card in there for any reason. The very first thing you do during your turn is the collection phase. If your Emberscape is full, you collect all of the cards in your Emberscape, meaning you put them into your collection pile. This is your main way of accruing points throughout the game. Once cards enter the collection pile, there's no way to get them out. If you successfully collect your entire Emberscape, you flip over and play an arcane card just as if it had come out of your hand. Follow any effects, even if you don't want to. If you get to your collection phase and your Emberscape is not full, skip that step, there's nothing to do. Next is your mode phase. During your mode phase, if you want, you can take a card from your hand and put it on top of your mode pile. This will put you into a different mode of gameplay. When you do this, you do not activate the effects of the card. You are just using it to change your mode. If you prefer to skip your mode phase, you can do so unless there are no cards in your mode pile. If there are no cards in your mode pile, you have to play one. Next is your draw phase. Draw 1 card from the top of the deck. Then is your play phase. Choose 1 card from your hand and play it into the Emberscape, activating any effects possible on the card. Next is your end phase. If you have more than 9 cards in your hand during your end phase, you must discard down to 9 cards. If you get to your end phase with no cards in your hand, draw 2 from the deck. Ambyria has certain key actions that are specifically defined for the game. Anything that is in bold in the card effect means it's a key action that's specifically defined. If you steal a card, that means the card gets put into your hand. If you capture a card, put that card into your Emberscape. If you destroy a card, it goes into the discard pile. And if you collect a card, it goes into your collection pile. If you're playing in protection mode, all of those key actions will not work on cards in your Emberscape or in your hand. The mode pile itself and the deck are not protected. If you're playing in hasty mode, when you get to your collection phase, collect the cards in your Emberscape if you have at least 3 cards, rather than needing 5. If you're in attack mode, when you get to your play phase, if you have 5 cards in your Emberscape during your play phase, you get to collect the cards automatically instead of having to wait for your collection phase next turn. During attack mode or hasty mode, every time you collect, you still flip over and play an arcane card as you normally would. If you are in greedy mode, draw 2 cards from the top of the deck instead of 1 during your draw phase. Although most cards get played straight into the Emberscape, there are a few cards that have a symbol next to their effect. Anything that has the X symbol means it plays directly to the discard pile instead of staying in the Emberscape. Cards with this symbol have a similar effect. When you play this card, instead of staying in the Emberscape, it goes directly to your collection pile. Cards with this symbol have a lasting effect. Most cards are played once and then are done. This card, however, will be in effect as long as it stays in the Emberscape. Play these cards sideways to remind other players that they must follow the effects of that card as long as it stays there. This symbol is for the Martyr card. There are 4 Martyrs in each deck, 1 for each of the 4 different modes of gameplay. Martyrs can be played from your hand onto any mode pile at any time, even during your opponent's turn, as an interrupt or response effect. 2 basic ways that these can be used are to respond and go into protection mode if somebody tries to destroy or steal a card from your hand or Emberscape. If an opponent is in protection mode, a Martyr can be used to take them out of protection mode in order to attack them. The only other way you can play a card at any time is through the use of the Magician's Tactic. When you play the Magician's Tactic, the X symbol means it plays straight to the discard pile, but the effect allows you to put a card from your hand face down into the Emberscape. Face down cards cannot be stolen, captured, destroyed, or collected, but the other benefit is you can flip the face down card over at any time, activating its effects in response to something else your opponent does, or any time at a later time during the game. Hopefully this helps in getting started playing Ambyria. If there are any specific questions about cards during gameplay, check out the card index on our website. Thanks for watching.